Hello wine lovers, Matthew here from Simply Spanish Wine for another tasting video. And today we're looking at this wine, Ónra Blanc by La Gravera. Now this is a delicately floral white blend with a really mineral finish from one of Spain's top biodynamic producers. So La Gravera, what's it all about? Well, this winery was set up back in 2006 by the Arnault family. Now they'd been local builders up in Catalonia and they decided to repurpose the gravel quarry that they'd used for many years for their building business and build the bodega in the actual quarry. Now the winery itself is in the town of Alcarràs, which is about 25 kilometers north of the town of Lleida. But the vineyards are spread across various locations, both within and outside the official denominación de origen of Costers del Segre. Now, Costers del Segre is one of 10 DOs in Catalonia, but this time it's quite inland. We're just over 100 kilometers to the sea, kind of in a straight line as the crow flies towards Tarragona. And all the vineyards are ranged around the town of Lérida, or Lleida, as it's pronounced in Catalan. La Gravera is biodynamic. Now that means the vineyards and winery work in harmony with nature and natural cycles. There's a big emphasis on things like bee populations. They get nurtured to ensure pollination. Sheep are used to keep the grasses in the vineyard under control. And cow dung is the perfect source of natural fertilizer. And all that actually is beautifully drawn on the label here, which looks quite psychedelic, but it actually refers to a lot of those biodynamic practices that the winery practices. Now, winery head and chief winemaker Pilar Salillas also stresses the importance of the Serra Llarga, which is a hilly stretch just north of Lleida, which is a sort of precursor for the Pyrenees, which are a bit further to the north. Now, the Serra's white soil is bursting with calcium-rich gypsum, which in a region which is otherwise quite dry and continental, really helps keep the wines fresh and quite taut, quite lean. And like lots of places in Spain, this is an area with a long winemaking tradition. You know, families have been making wine for their own consumption for decades. And as a result, it's an area which is very rich in old vines. In fact, La Gravera's El Viñet vineyard, for example, was planted back in 1889, and it's absolutely bursting with native grape varieties, 24 to be precise, and that's in an area of just over 1 hectare. So, what have we got here in Ónra? Well, this is a blend of white Garnacha and Sauvignon Blanc. Now, white Garnacha, as many of you will know, is a very popular grape in this part of Spain, especially in Terra Alta, which is another of Catalonia's DOs, about 100 kilometers to the south of La Gravera. And the other grape in here is Sauvignon Blanc. Now, many of you will have drunk that grape before. You know its profile varies a bit depending on where it's grown. It can be fresh, aromatic, with some grassy, herbaceous aromas, sometimes a bit of gooseberry or asparagus in there, particularly if you're in cooler northern climates. And then if you go down south, if we're in more southern hemisphere perhaps, you get more tropical notes, grapefruit, mango, or passion fruit, for example. So how's it made? Well, these grapes are all harvested. They come from an 11-hectare estate, and that estate is divided into 14 different biodynamically farmed vineyard plots. The fruit all gets harvested manually from around mid-September onwards into October, and it gets kept chilled at a steady 6 degrees centigrade. The grapes are then carefully destemmed and gently crushed before pressing. The must then undergoes spontaneous fermentation with native yeast. That's the yeast that are found kind of on the grape skins in the winery, no added industrial yeasts. And it all ferments at low temperature to extract as much natural flavor and minerality as possible and really boost aromatic complexity. Once that's all done, the wine spends about 4 months sitting on its fine lees in stainless steel tanks before bottling. It's straw yellow in colour with some golden streaks. It gives off aromas of things like pear, coupled with citrus notes, nectarine, perhaps a tropical fruit background with a bit of pineapple and grapefruit skin. It's subtly floral, there's a hint of cut grass in there, and it's fresh in the mouth with a little weight and texture from that lees contact. It's got a medium finish, packed with fruit, some saline notes, and a pleasing bitterness, which really boosts the freshness. Now for me, this wine would work really well with dishes like white or blue fish, think sardines, tuna, that kind of thing. Shellfish too would work, but also things like grilled chicken, rice dishes perhaps like paella or fideuà, or even salads. There we are, Ónra 2021 vintage. This is from La Gravera up in Costers del Segre in Catalonia. Available now on the Simply Spanish Wine website. Thanks for watching and see you again soon. Bye for now.